Thanks for tuning back into our 2019 NFL Draft Profile Series right here on Dynasty League Football. Today, we're getting into a wide receiver who might just have become my darling of the class. I'm talking about Parris Campbell of Ohio State, and we're going to be getting into him next, so stick around.
The NFL Draft Profile Series, NFL Prospects, break it down, let's get it. People's pen and the gridiron scholar, time to do it major. Let's see who running the field, let's analyze the data. Yeah, let's go.
Depending on which tweet of mine you read or what day of the week it is, you might think I have a different opinion of the NFL Combine. And I do, but it's really on a case-by-case scenario, player to player. I say that because Parris Campbell really kind of blew his stock out of the water with his performance at the Combine in tying Andy Isabella for the fastest 40 amongst the wide receiver position at a 4.31. There are so many other things, though, I like about this guy. And, John, I'm going to touch on him in a moment, but numbers aside, what have you seen from Parris Campbell? And is he somebody that's kind of rising and maybe going a little under the radar in your estimation?
Andy, Ohio State receivers in Urban Meyer's system always, to me, are one of the most complex players to evaluate. I was behind the times on Mike Thomas coming out of Ohio State, the All-Pro on the Saints. And I've looked at Parris Campbell in detail a lot because I want to make sure that I get this assessment correct on him. Because at times I worry about the receivers being a system wide receiver. We talk about quarterbacks who are system quarterbacks. But there are times where there are wide receivers who have maybe the same challenge ahead of them. But the Combine really opened my eyes to how explosive an athlete that this young man is. So in high school, he was a track and field star who anchored the 4x100 and the 4x200 meter relays. And that speed was evident at the Combine. In 2018, he was first team All Big Ten, and he earned a bachelor's degree in sociology in December. So he's a good working, hard young man who spent time in the classroom with the Buckeyes and earned his paper. He established a school record with 90 receptions this year. I'm shocked that in the glorified history of Ohio State that no receivers ever had more than 90 receptions. And he's only the fifth Buckeye to eclipse 1,000 yards receiving in a season. Now, in 2016, he led the Big Ten in kickoff returns and averaged 30.4 yards per return during his career. So he's a plug-and-play special teamer from day one. But he's also a little bit of a late bloomer as far as age is concerned. In the benchmark categories that I talk about, his career stats do not exceed the three benchmarks that I'm looking for. So there is some trepidation with this young man as a prospect. He only had 143 receptions. I like 150, but he's close. That's because he's a late breakout performer. I like to see 15 yards per reception in college. He only had 12.4. Now, part of it is the Ohio State Buckeyes, how they throw the ball. He caught so many short passes at Ohio State in Urban Meyer's system. You have a very low yards per reception. Now, because there was so much talent on Ohio State, he also comes down in my team catch share percentage. They're okay, but none of them jump off the page at me. But where he really, really shows that he's an incredible athlete and that he could perform better at the pro level is his athletic ability at the Combine. He finished first among receivers in 40-yard dash, in which you referred to, and first in the 20-yard shuttle with 4.03. So he's lightning fast in straight line speed and incredible elusiveness. He was third in broad jump and fifth in vertical jump. So he's explosive. Hey, he's got great body size, 6 foot, 205 pounds. He's a notable blazer with long arms, strong hands, and nice catch radius. He's a fluid and explosive athlete. He's an excellent runner after the catch and difficult to bring down in the open field. He has quick ankle breaking cuts and loose hips. Watch the film. He is so dangerous on a 1-yard hitch or a quick bubble screen. He breaks tackles with vigor and identifies angles to avoid the tackler. He has natural soft hands, and he intermittently double clutches passes at times, but I'm not going to ding him too much for that. So, Andy, I like him a lot. He moved up in my rankings. He's someone who I want to draft. Tell me what you think about Parris Campbell.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed on exactly what to think of Parris Campbell. I mean, this was a 4-star recruit coming out of the same high school as LeBron James, and he was known as a superior athlete. You mentioned the track and field background. His production at Ohio State wasn't necessarily there on paper, but it's been noted how he improved his game year in and year out. You watch some clips of his senior year from high school, and you can clearly see the evolution from then to where he is now. I'm perplexed because I'm not entirely sure we've seen someone like this at the next level. When you look at guys running this fast, few are this size. Darius Hayward-Bay would be the closest, but his career was always built off of projection, whereas Campbell has now shown on-field production to match when you look back at it this past senior year. And as you mentioned, the Ohio State record for receptions in a season. He went from 25 to 50 to 109 targets over the last 3 years, so he's definitely been coming on strong. The guy that immediately came to my mind from more recent years is Kiki Kuti, but again, he's bigger and faster than that. I know he's been comped to Percy Harvin, which makes sense size-wise and what they do as receivers, but he's even faster than Harvin. He's even faster than Odell Beckham, which is another guy, as crazy as it may sound to kind of mention in the same breath, is kind of that same size and speed, come over the middle, pluck the ball out of the air with your hands, and then turn it upfield and have that punt return mentality. I mean, he works the underneath so well, John, and he doesn't sit idly by or become stationary. His activity and his routes reminds me some of Christian Kirk from last year. And again, I'm just keeping it recent. He makes tough catches in tight windows and in traffic, and he's used to being exposed over the middle. Has impressive return ability on his resume, which is evident with the ball in his hands in the open field. John, it's almost like he went to college to learn, and he leaves after 4 years having refined and mastered what he went to major in, becoming a professional wide receiver. I hate that it will seem like overreaction from the incredible combine performance he had, but I really think there's maybe one of the few receivers this year with an uncapped ceiling as a pro. We could look back in 3 years and wonder why he wasn't the unanimous number one prospect. I really think the sky is the limit for this guy as he enters the next dimension of his career. Do I sound like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid too much on Parris Campbell just based on a quick 40? Let us know. Leave it in the comments below. What's your take on Parris Campbell? Is he somebody you're moving up your draft boards? Check out the other players we've covered. See how you think we've graded so far and if we're too high or too low on Campbell based on that. Subscribe to the channel wherever you're watching this. We'd appreciate a like. Check out John's other work. Check out all the other stuff on dynastyleaguefootball.com, podcasts and articles. And we'll see you next time with another episode. Hopefully you're enjoying these.